Hello guys, this is Roxy Miller here. I was going to give you guys some tips on how to record in a studio and get the best results. I have 5 really awesome tips that I've learned along the way, doing it myself and helping others record in the studio, that I wanted to give to you, and so here we go. Okay, so the first thing you want to make sure of in the recording process is that you know exactly what you're going to be doing with your voice while you're in the studio. Don't wait and kind of feel like you kind of know what you're doing. You should know every single run, every single harmony, every single verse, and every single chorus, and exactly how it's going to be sung. This is going to save so much time in the recording studio. Those things are super important, and they're not things that you should be figuring out when you're at the studio. So if you need help, go ahead and hire some help. There's some amazing voice coaches, me included, that can help you make sure that the singing sounds the way that you want it before you get there. One thing that can happen to a lot of the singers that I've worked with is that a producer is not a vocal coach. Producers are amazing, by the way. Producers can bring stuff out of you that you never knew that you had even available, right? But they can't necessarily always tell you exactly how to do it. That's the job of a vocal coach. And the vocal coach can say, so you want to sing this high note right there? This is how you're going to sing that high note. Not the fact that you need to sing the high note, okay? And that's where it can kind of get kind of tricky, right? Like when the producer just tells you to do something and you as a vocalist don't know how to do that thing, but you want it to sound that way, it's very, very stressful. And if you have recorded in the past, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So please, please make sure that you know how to do everything that you're trying to do before you get to the studio. And if you wait till you get to the studio on handling something you're a little bit uncomfortable about in the song before you get there, it's going to be really hard on you and the recording studio and also the producer. So just make sure that you really, really know and feel comfortable and confident in the way that you're going to sing the song. It is super important that you warm up your voice correctly before you record. You want to make sure that you have the correct warm-ups for your type of singing. The ones that we use are specifically for pop and R&B and hip-hop and country and blues, not for opera or classical, right? And they help condition all 8 of the muscles that you use to control your voice. Whether you realize you have 8 or not, you do. Everybody does. And they all have their own abilities to control something that you would like to be able to do, like skills, right? The Voicercise How to Use Your Voice is a great tool to use because it gives you all 8 of the exercises to make sure all 8 of those muscles are working correctly. We're going to go over number 3, which is what should you bring with you when you go and record? And the answer is lots and lots of room temperature water. The way that vocal cords work is that they're muscles. And to be able to make your voice go higher and lower, they have to vibrate very quickly or very slowly. And to be able to do that, they have to be pliable. They have to be warm. They have to be able to move like this and make sound waves come out of your mouth. So if you have a lot of like dryness happening, or you're drinking a lot of cold beverages and trying to sing, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to sing higher and lower notes because they can't physically do the action you're asking for them with all that cold liquid in there. So this is the reason why singers have to drink room temperature water, no ice, no soda, because soda kind of can get into your vocal cords and dry them out with all the bubbles and make them kind of act in a weird way. And you don't want to be drinking stuff with like a bunch of caffeine in it, because caffeine literally dries you out. But if you're going to get some tea, hot tea, you want to make sure that it's like herbal, you know, or peppermint or ginger or something like that that's good for your voice. And this is just for the point of you recording, not like all the time 24/7, because that'd be insane, right? But when you're recording or you're going to perform, you want to make sure that you have room temperature water, some warm tea. Hot tea is fine too. Sometimes from watching TV shows and maybe The Voice or American Idol or things where people are kind of criticizing voices, we get this idea that we want to bring the most brutally honest person with us when we go and record. This is not the case. Because when you're trying to sing and have confidence and you're looking into the booth and thinking somebody is judging you for singing badly, you're not going to sing very good. Some people do well with that. If you do well with that, that's totally fine, and continue doing that. I'm in the area of helping people make their talent more. I help build up artists, you know? Sometimes vocal coaches, people in the singing industry can kind of really push on tearing singers down, you know, and making them feel less and pointing out their flaws. And I don't know if that really helps somebody sing better, That's maybe can be up for discussion. I teach about 47 students a week here in the studio, a lot of professionals, and I usually find that the instances where you felt bad about the way you sung, there was no kind of answer as to how to fix those things, just pointing out the fact that it was bad. And that does not give you the ability to make it better. So I would suggest bringing somebody to the studio with you that is like your best friend, your main supporter, and that is not critical on the way that you sing. That helps build you up and helps make you feel better about the way that you sing. And if they point out something like a flaw, they're like, this is your flaw and this is exactly what you need to do to make it better. By doing that, you'll be able to get a much better product out of the end result of recording. You're gonna like it, they're gonna like it, and it's gonna produce so much more confidence in the process. Okay, so here's the last one, number 5. After you finish your recording engineer is going to do some editing of your voice. If you've recorded ever before, you'll notice this. It's also being paid by hour. It's part of your recording process, and this is when they make your voice have all the parts together that make your sound perfect. Now, in recording, sometimes you'll go in and they'll tell you record all the verses, then record all the chorus, and then record the bridge, just because that's easier to do at one time. And then they have to put it in their correct order, put little filters on it, make this note have a harmony, blah, 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 this and that, okay? And those things are done after the recording is done. Here's the thing. You are the artist. You are supposed to like the end result, okay? So if you hear the person that's editing your song do something that you don't like, please speak up. You know why? Because recording engineers and producers don't like it when the artist doesn't like what they've recorded. That's not a good end result for them, you know? So don't feel like your ideas of what it sounds like are not good enough, because this is your voice and it has to sound the way that you want it to sound. Sometimes you have to go back in and say, hey, I want to do another recording of that. I don't like that. And that's going to help you in the long run, because if you end up taking something home that you don't absolutely love, you're going to have to do this whole process over again. It's going to take way longer than you fixing that one vocal or 2 vocals you didn't like. So my advice to you is to be present during the editing process. Be present and say what you think, and not necessarily everything that you say is going to be taken up and handled, and that's okay. Sometimes people know more than you in certain areas, but for God's sake, find out, okay? And that's going to help to make sure that you like the end result, and that there's nothing you're listening to forever, listening to that track, that you're like, oh, I wish I redid that part. Okay, so these are my 5 tips for you. If you have any other questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to help you. My name is Roxy Miller, and I will see you later. Bye.
You can sing if you want to, whatever style. No matter all the things that stop you, find out how to sing what you want to. We can help. Do it now.
Buy your Voice for Size home vocal training program at voiceforsize.com.